What's up everyone, it's Gabby Trades and welcome back to the channel. Well, bears and bulls can't get a break unless they're trading on the 1 minute time frame at this point. Is this normal or are we gonna get some motion soon enough? You guys, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new here, and ring the bell so you never miss when I get live here with you, even though apparently YouTube has been a little bit weird. So if you want to get the earliest notification, you have to go on Twitter or on Discord, where I always send an update 5 minutes before I get live here with you. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Doddy. Oh my God, Doddy had a birthday, you guys. Let's just say, everyone, happy belated birthday to Doddy, who is our absolute legend. He's trading low caps. It is insane. We have a dedicated group to him. He's doing so great. All right, I know we've had a weird week, you guys. I know how it is. Let's look at the chart, see what we can make up today. But again, first, as usual, we're gonna start with whatever news happened yesterday, right? So make sure you smash that like. Uri, hello, we have a new person here. Diamond Eyes, you guys, let me know if the sound is okay, if everything is fine, and let's just crack here with yesterday's first thing that we had, which was the ISM. Can you actually see here the results? Let's just zoom out a little bit over here. Yes, you can potentially see that quite well. So essentially the IMS services PMI came out at 50.1 versus expectations of 51.5. Now that is showing us that the US service sector is barely growing. Now, anything above 50, it's okay, but like the fact that we got the expectations higher and we got it lower, it could be a trigger, especially after what we had on Friday. You can see how sensitive we're right now to all kinds of news that are coming, because after this release, the US dollar drop, S&P sold off, suggesting that traders are viewing this as a weak economic signal. And this is the type of thing that I was trying to tell you guys yesterday. We need to start looking at this a little bit more seriously, at the data that it comes in, because weak ISM can signal slower economic growth as well, which might trigger Fed rate cuts later, but only if inflation doesn't spike again. Does that make sense? So for now, of course, we know that Jay Powell is staying cautious, whatever. Now let's move on to the other drama that we had yesterday. Hello, dear Trump. Look at this. I actually love this. So President Trump, again, making headlines as usual. He is saying that he's proposing 250% tariffs if the companies don't manufacture their pharmaceuticals in the US, right? So it's actually crazy. So he's trying to keep the pharmaceuticals only in the US. You know, there is lots of important pharmaceuticals in the US, and he's now going for the pharmaceuticals hard. 250% is kind of crazy, right? So that's literally the latest now we have, and he hasn't even stopped there. The thing is over here, I don't know if you can see this, probably not. We probably have to zoom out again a little bit here. But the crazy news is as well related to him. Sorry, you guys, we're trading in his market. He is proposing tariffs on semiconductors, not proposing. He's in fact expecting them to be intact from next week. That's like, you know, it's happening immediately, right? So this is going, like, he wants to keep all the production in the US. We get it, but also this is going to have a major impact immediately. Now I kind of see Jay Powell's point on this, because this is just not going to go as smoothly. Like, this is a long-term plan and it's going to have an effect on the economy. Now, another very interesting thing about him is that Trump is criticizing big banks. Now we're talking JP Morgan, Bank of America. They're refusing to open bank accounts for him, right? And he's saying that it's kind of like they're looking for a payback sort of thing. But let me guys know in the comments, why do you think these banks don't want to open accounts? He literally goes ahead and says, I have accounts with like hundreds of millions and nobody wants to open an account for me. Do you guys think that there is a reason for that? He's saying the banks are discriminated against me very badly. right? Debag conservatives for political reasons. This is insane. Imagine having hundreds of millions and no one wants to run your banking. That's kind of crazy. So yeah, this is pretty much what we have in terms of headlines. Now we're gonna go back here on the charts over here, and we're gonna talk about a Bitcoin, right? So annoyingly yesterday, right, we had a long down here, which is still valid, right? The long is still valid. There's few reasons why I cut it on break even this morning. The reason for me doing a break even was because I was annoyed that I had to go in such a drawdown and that I didn't wait for the perfect entry. I should have waited a little bit more, but I was expecting for the higher low to be a little bit higher, whatever. But the setup is still valid, you guys, and the reason for that is there's so many confluences, right? We have daily support over here. You know, we have the bullish engulfing candle on a daily time frame, very good sign over here. So it is still valid. Whoever is in that setup, you know, you can hold it. For me, I'm like, me personally, right, I don't like to trade in the first week of the month. I don't like to do that, and I'm going to show you why is that. KTT thinks the laws America's is passing with the stable coins hurt banking, so might be a little payback. It could be, you know, but it's kind of crazy, like having all this money and then nobody wants to be your banking buddy. I mean, it's not great. But anyway, so yeah, over here, bullish engulfing on the daily, right? So the only thing that is worrying me right now is that this was supposed to be stronger, right? If we open the sweep signals over here, we can see that we had a higher target yesterday, and unfortunately now we're seeing this move to 115664. So that is probably, like, if you're long, I'll probably take profits around here because that is the first fractal. We do have one above that, which is going to be essentially relatively equal highs over here, so both potentially are going to be targeted. And then fill of this these imbalances over here, these bearish candles that have two big imbalances. If we open the indicators, we can see them. You see 4 hour here, 4 hour here. Both haven't been mitigated, right? So what do I mean by that? Well, basically you're looking for the candle to be within that price range here, within the gap itself, and it hasn't. So what is that over here? Well, that's liquidity, right? That's engineered internal liquidity within the range. So this is what I'm seeing right now. So the probability of this long setup playing is getting higher and higher and higher right now. So this is what the first things are going to be targeted over here, especially under the fair value gaps over here. That's pretty much liquidity before price comes back into that fair value, right? And also, if you open the volume profile here on the 4 hour time frame, let's have a look if we can see that. The volume profile over here, you can see that the point of control is going to be at around 117 over here, where we have a sell zone and the liquidity above. So there is still more probabilities than not that price is going to go there. But now the question is it going to get another run of these lows over here or not? It is honestly possible, right? I cannot tell you at this point because this is the first week of the month over here. So I'm going to show you why I prefer to wait for the second week. And all of these things, you guys, I'm going to teach you, right? Where am I looking at the most probable trades? What you need to do for that, you guys, is, you know, as usual, right? You can just get on the video over here. This is our live. We have 30 people watching. Let's have a look how many likes we have. 19 likes. Guys, we need at least 10 more likes over here. So look at that. If you come down here, you can see all the promos that I have for you, and you can also find my trading strategy course waitlist. Very important. Get on that list because I'm going to teach you the most probable times for trading and the cycles that I'm looking at in trading, and of course the trading indicators over here. If you click on that link, you'll get it over here. That is the Liquid Edge Pro Suite, which you can get the sweep signals that I just showed you on the chart, all the liquidity on the chart that you need to concern yourselves with, fair value gaps, order blocks, and breaker blocks, which is a very, very important confluence for anyone trading price action out there. It is literally the basics that you need. So anyway, over here we have the volume profile at around 117 700 or 800 with a sell zone in combination. So when price reaches up here, it's going to be very interesting what it is going to do. Now, again, looking at the volume profile over here, right? If we open the volume profile, we can still see that we're trading below value area low of this volume profile, right? So essentially, this is not, price should have reacted from the value area profile. So that's just another reason why I'm a bit wary about this setup over here. Hold on, let me see. How's the chat going, you guys? Hello, Joe. Hi. Chris, everyone is here, you guys. Lovely to see you. Let me know, how are you doing? Are you trading this week? What are you planning? So, okay, let's move on. I want to tell you why I'm looking here at the second week. So usually, right, for me, I look at the second week always. And when I told you, right, July is going to be a ranging month, I started counting that again from the second week of July over here. So as you can see, even within the first week of July, we were still extending, continuing the moves over here, right? Continuing a move over here, even in the first week of July. And then the second week of July is where the reversal happens whatsoever. So over here, we're looking at exactly the same thing for next week, right? To see how this unfolds, whether we're going to get the reversal to the upside or whether we're going to get right now a little bit of rally and then a reversal again. Hello, Peter. How are you doing? Peter must have had a lot of fun with stocks lately with all the earnings. It's been quite interesting. American Eagle as well did quite well. Did quite well with Sydney Sweeney, right? I think that was pretty cool. Okay, so yeah, that's it over here for Bitcoin. Bullish engulfing, right? Not supported with a lot of volume, but still technically there is a setup over here. And there was a setup for short as well. So whoever is short is hurting, whoever is long is hurting or at break even right now. So both sides are just at the moment getting absolutely slammed. Unless you're trading on the 5-minute time frame, you're probably going to get more results if you're trading on a lower time frame over here. So Ethereum, interesting thing, again, in between the buy setup, in between the sell setup. Now Ethereum for me is looking not so great at the moment, especially if I open here the liquidity. We can see that on the 1-hour time frame. We have this low at 3,364 now liquidity, which is combined with the daily support over here. So the way I'm looking at this right now is this low is going to be taken at some point, whether price is going to make another run over here to lots of resistances and then drop, or it's going to directly drop down here. But the most probable setups for me are within the sell zone, above to the 0.786 for a sell, and then for a buy, if price drops all the way down, to sweep that liquidity down here for a buy. I think that's going to be way more probable than anything looking right now, trading in between that liquidity, right? So that's it pretty much, you know. But 3,300, right, because the liquidity is sitting at 3,353. So let's say with a wick to make sure to liquidate everyone over here. So you're potentially looking at 3,300 or a little above or a little below within the buy breaker block yet again, which is the yellow zone over here. This is what you'll be looking at. And over here, if we look on a daily time frame, let's see the confirmations. Let's see the confirmations for short over here on a daily time frame. Yeah, so essentially that's going to bring you to probably around 1.5 up to -2. So even that is not, you know, if it gets really extended, you might even get to down to this point, -0.5 is absolutely possible if it gets really bad. But over here, if we're looking at the setup to get buys from this low, you're going to be looking at, unfortunately, probably a little bit lower, right? Because -0.5 is never usually enough for a standard deviation, but it might happen, right? It is a zone. So you're looking at 3,282 for a potential for a potential reversal over here. And in the worst case scenario, -1 should hold, right? -1 at the very, very worst. So let's have a look here. How much are we looking at if that happens? Yeah, probably another 15% drop. 0.5, it's possible, right? You have a daily support over here, but it already bounced once from it, right? So a second bounce is still probable, but not that probable, right? So you're probably going to breach it a little bit lower, looking for the new levels. Yes, you guys, make sure you like the video. So yeah, that's it. Sell setup from over here, pretty nice from the 0.786, you guys. That's the thing, you know, with me, if you're not in from like the original levels, which are the basic levels, right? 0.786, whatever you do in between, you're always going to get a little bit more risk, right? So that's it with me. When you get like the ideal levels, you have to act, because it not often are you going to get 0.5 over here and 0.786. These are levels that are within a price range quite far from each other, right? So over here we're talking 35% move in that case on a higher time frame. So if you're in, right? This is what it is. If you're looking for trades every day, then you're risking a bit more, right? You have to be a little bit more cautious over here, because of course price is not just going to go one way, right? It's going to go up and it's going to go down, and you're going to lose at some point. Solana actually is looking fine right now. The reason why Sol is nice right now is because it's back at the daily support, and potentially it wants to bounce from the daily support. Now, again, another thing about Sol is that we had a higher target. Yesterday, the target was up here, right, for Sol, and it did really well. Throughout the day, it did so well. It did better than Bitcoin, right, in terms of returns. It was like up 1 point something percent, whereas Bitcoin was like sitting at 0. So Solana did really well, even better than Ethereum, but then it erased the gains even faster. So this is the asset that you're dealing with right now when you're looking at Solana like that. But yeah, so you're either gonna get a bounce right now from the daily support to take that liquidity and potentially retest that level and get a continuation over here, or you're looking at sweeping the liquidity on a 4-hour time frame, which is going to be at 144. So that is going to bring you at, from where we are right now, 11%, right? And it's not going to be exact, so you might as well just drop it down to the same area with Ethereum, which is at around 15%, if that happens, right? And this is going to be generational, honestly. Like if we get a drop to these levels, for me it's going to be a most definite buy if I'm looking at the chart technically, right? For Solana. So yeah, bearish engulfing here, no bullish engulfing. Let's look on the daily time frame. Nothing. It seems quite weak, to be fair. So the daily support is probably the only thing that you can hold on to right now. But then even for that, right, if you're looking to enter into something, you have to have at least more than one confirmation, and you're not getting that right now. You see, so potentially you have a break over here with some power now from this morning, but that's not enough, right? That's not enough. You need to break one more level over here to get a little bit more confidence, and then on a retrace, then I'd be okay, maybe it makes sense, but for now it doesn't really. So yeah, let's look at the TradFi a little bit. Gold is pulling back today. Interesting. So for gold, same thing. Actually, you know, the range has been doing perfectly. As you can see here, buys from the 0.5 as usual. How many buys did you get from the 0.5, right? Here you have into an area of interest. That was the first buy. This was the second buy from 0.5, and then price retraced to 0.5. You have your third buy, came up here, filled the gap, continuation, right? Because rejection from the 0.5 should show you some sort of continuation. It's always up until like the 0.786 from where you are looking to sell, and then in a bullish market you're looking to buy from the 0.5, and again we're finding ourselves at 0.786, so that's potential retrace from here sales, right, on gold. In terms of gold, let's have a look at it on a lower time frame. Yeah, you do have a setup over here for shorts today, so that might mean that the overall markets could rally a little bit. And over here you have a quick V shape, so you're potentially looking at price retracing over here, so a potential buy from that zone. In fact, over here would be not so bad. Stop loss, you need to think about it a little bit too much. You have a balanced price range over here that you can look at as well. Look at that over here, right? So you want to be stopped below that balanced price range, because essentially you want for the balance range to hold, and then you can aim for 1 to 2, 1 to 3 over here, because everyone is entering shorts right now, and then price could bounce from this level. And if you're looking to trade like one of our FX traders, by the way, so in that case he would be entering somewhere here in that level. Actually, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, you've been watching his videos more than me, but I'm sure he's looking at he'll potentially enter maybe somewhere lower within this range actually. So yeah, you can have your first entry here, you can have a second entry here, you can put your stop loss below, something like that, and you'll be aiming for 1 to 2 in that case. If you're following the FX strategies over here, something like that, right? That would be ideal. But then if you're like me, I'll probably be entering even over here with like a small micro contract, and then I'll be stacking my orders, something like that. For gold, let's have a look at silver. Silver, oh my god, what a generational buy on silver over here. This was amazing, right? From 0.236. You guys, I want you to pay close attention and look at how these ranges are working. So that's why I'm calling you guys, come on the video below in the description box and get on the wait list. Get on the wait list. Click on that video over here. Click on that link under the description box of the video. Get on the wait list. I'm going to teach you how to draw the ranges and find the zones on the ranges, because as you can see, for crypto, for equities, for forex, they do work, right? They do work. This is all I've been using for so many years. Just do it. Get on it here. So yeah, perfect buy here. Over here, if I was in a buy over here, first take profit of course at the 0.5, but in a bullish range, right? If you drop down here, you would expect for price to come up to the $38 point over here, but whether that's going to happen in another rejection here from the 0.5, and then this is what you're looking at over here. Copper has been absolutely insane. Copper is also not looking bad for buys right now, because this is our daily support down here where price completely dropped. So we had one support down here that was completely obliterated when Trump made the headlines once again. And then over here you can see that we're bouncing nicely from the 4.33. So copper is something that I'll be looking very closely, because it is at a zone of interest for me as well. In terms of Nasdaq or S&P 500, I've told you guys, again, price is bouncing from our zones quite nicely, still bullish. I will remain bullish on the equities up until we reach at least 24,600. You guys know what my plan is over here, and even a little bit higher. I'm looking at both these zones over here, -2 standard deviation extension. I think it's going to be pretty awesome for some shorts. So yeah, but this is going to unfold, if anything, not this week, probably next week. Good morning, Harvey. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm looking at. Let's look at XRP real quick. Still in between zones. how boring, honestly, everything is boring over here. You have the buy at the 0.236 area, and within the buy zone, and then now you're trading within the sell zone. So you just need a confirmation of some sort over here, whether it's going to be up or down. Just give us the confirmation, right? Dollar is on the way up right now. Massive rejection immediately over here, so this is not a bad signal, right? Especially this candle that ran straight through the bullish candle over here. So this is going to be your area of interest for dollar. You want to be watching dollar rejecting from this area. So yeah, that's going to be the hopes over here, that dollar is going to absolutely smash it to the downside. Bitcoin dominance in a range, like we said, potential flag forming here, bearish for the retailers. So that is something that we're looking at unfolding. Hopefully that is going to give the alts some really nice break over here, right? That we need, and more confirmation. But yeah, that's it pretty much that I have for you guys today. Nothing else. We're not going to waste time looking at the charts and talking stuff, but yeah, this is it, and I'm gonna see you guys. Make sure you join Discord. It's been a bit quiet over there because everyone's like, oh my god, what are we doing this week? But yeah, you just have to be patient, right? Beginning of the month is always like that. You need to wait for the second week to unfold to make bigger decisions. All right. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. I will see you on Discord.